What's up, guys? This is Chris with Wiseman Custom Resin Work. Today we're gonna do a quick little tutorial here, kind of show you how to make some quick molds at home if you guys don't have time to wait for some new ones to come in, or or if you just aren't a little on a budget, so to speak, then this is a great way to make your own molds. It's very, very cheap. It's no more than about $5 to $10, depending on how many, how big of a mold you need and how much you need. So basically, excuse me, guys, I got kind of a stuffy nose here. My allergies kind of acting up, all this weather changing on me. But anyways, guys. So what we're gonna do, I need some coaster molds, so I'm gonna just do a real quick coaster mold tutorial, just kind of show you how to do, in a pinch. I have a couple of orders that I need to get filled. I don't have time to be able to wait on the new ones to come in due to the holidays and the pandemic. The shipping is outrageously delayed. So I don't have time for that, so I'm gonna make my own, and by doing that, I'm gonna be using 100% silicone, just the all-purpose silicone. It was like $4.68 at Walmart, and it's like $5.90 at Lowe's and Home Depot. So it's fairly about the same price everywhere you go. Now, if you tuned in on my other video, you see that I did make a coaster mold. That was a full-blown coaster mold. That one wasn't bad. That one is actually a decent mold for if if I wasn't going to use any wood or anything like that, just to use a standard coaster. But I don't need that. I'm actually trying to make some wood coasters. So what I'm gonna do, it'll be part wood, and then about 2 inches, or I'm sorry, about 3 inches of wood, and about 1.5 to 2 inches of resin coming off like this to make kind of like the resin rubber, so to speak, but except it's going to be at the tip. So basically, guys, what we're gonna do, first thing you're gonna want to do is get you either some plexiglass or some type of the Tyvek tape, something along those lines, just anything, or even a silicone mat. That works great as well. Just anything that the resin won't stick to. And then basically what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to get that. Something that the resin won't stick to. Then you're going to need the all-purpose silicone, and you're going to need a caulking gun. Now, they do sell the all-purpose silicone. If you're looking for like a smaller mold, like honestly for something like what I'm doing here, I could have bought the smaller tube where it doesn't require me to have the caulking gun for, but I already have the caulking gun, and I'm going to be using it for more than just today, and more than just this video. I'm definitely going to be making more molds with it, so it's worth it to me just to go ahead and buy the bigger thing. So what we're going to begin with, I'm going to go on ahead and get mine cut here. That way I can get the hole punctured in it. And what you want to do, you just want to kind of cut the tip of it. Now for this, I'm going to kind of cut off and a little bit in an angle. I don't know if you guys can see that. That way it'll come out for me the way I want it to. And I'm gonna pull this one out. This one still has a little bit in it, but I'm not gonna finish that. I'll just go ahead and open up the new one, and I'll come back to this one kind of on an as needed basis. There's honestly not very much in it, and for sake of time with the video, I don't want to have to change it halfway through. So basically what you do, you cut the tip of it. Now on the caulking tubes, they do have another little thing inside there that you have to poke through as well. Now that one is usually fairly easy. You can either stick a screwdriver through it, or if you got a caulking gun, most caulking guns come with the little metal thing that you can kind of poke down there just to poke through it. Give me 1 second here. I'm kind of cleaning mine off. I used it on the last video here when I was opening the other silicone tube, so I got a little bit of silicone on it. So let me just clean this off really quick, for the most part at least. You definitely don't want any old silicone going into the new silicone. Might dampen the way it seals up. Okay, so basically that's what I was talking about, guys. It's got the little metal bar, and all you do is you just stick it right through there, right through the tip, poke into the hole, come right on out. Now usually I like to try to poke it around a couple of times in there, only because there is a bigger hole, and if you only poke the small little thing through there one time, then it might not get it as open as it could be. So it all is on preference, so you don't have to. I just chose to. Let me see. And basically what we're going to do, I've got the coaster, well not the coaster, but I've got this mold here that I used it actually in the last video. It's just something that I put together that's a 4x4, just the size of the coaster, and I sealed it. This part's where the resin would be, this part's where the wood would be, and I just kind of sealed it up together just so we can get a good idea. In the last video that I made, when I made the mold here for the full-blown mold, which actually is very durable, I'm really surprised at that. And I've actually used it, and apparently it's reusable. I'm actually very surprised at that. Usually I make the molds like how I'm about to show you now. I don't usually cast them like this and make the full-blown reusable ones, but I have used that one twice already, and it's actually still held up pretty good, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. And it's actually fairly cheap. It was only like, I think I maybe used a half a tube of resin, half a tube of caulking and or silicone, and honestly I probably could have got away with a little bit less because I made that pretty daggone thick, which could be why it's holding up. But anyways, what you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to get you some type of marker that you can mark with, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to find me a black marker here, or blue, that works too. And what you're going to do, you're going to want to put right where you're going to want your coasters at. In my case, I want it to be right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trace out the outline of where my coaster would be. Kind of zoom in so you guys can see it a tad bit better. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of go around, and I'm just going to trace where I want it to be at. Let me see here. And this is just going to put a mark in it. That way, I think this is dry erase marker, so I hope it holds up on there. This is just going to help you get a kind of a square here. That way I know where to run my silicone at. And you want to do it on the other one as well. You know, you just want to kind of do it on both sides. If you're going to do 2 coasters or 3 or however many coasters you're going to do, in this video. I'm just going to show you on the one, and I'll do my other one after, just for sake of time. And basically what you do is, once you make sure, as you can see, I've got it actually drew out the perfect square, which is why I go on ahead and put that one together like that. And then what you want to do, you just want to go around that with the bead of the silicone, and then basically just like a regular quick bead of it, just to kind of get a. You definitely want to have a thick bead though, just so you can have a good line across. And then once you get done with the first one, you can always come back with the second one. Now I usually make mine a tad bit bigger than what I want it to be, only because we are working with silicone here, guys. So you know, you might need to do a little bit of cutting or a little bit of sanding or whatever the case is. Now, like I said, I'm gonna go over it one more time, just so I can make sure that I've got a good thick line here. Especially because I know I'm gonna be running a good bit of resin on it here in a minute. And you just want to kind of go right over top of where you were at the first time. Couldn't see right there. So I'm gonna kind of come back along here one more time, because I don't think that's very thick there. Now, one of the things to remember, guys, it's definitely going to be pretty hard to get a straight line when you're dealing with the when you're dealing with this type of stuff here. So don't get discouraged if you can't get a straight line. You just need to go ahead and file it down, or sand it down, or use a saw and just go ahead and cut it, one or the other. But I'm going to show you also another quick way to be able to get it somewhat better than what it is when it comes out there. So another good way is just to kind of grab a little bit of water and then just go right along here and kind of get it shaped in. Just to kind of shape it into where you want it to be. That way you guys can pat it down and shape it. Make sure all of your layers are up there together. That way you make sure it seals up really good. I'm going to kind of turn it here for me, make it a little bit easier for me to get to like that. Definitely want to be able to seal it. you definitely don't want resin to be running out. So that's why you want to go along like this here. Kind of the more you go along it, the better, of course, the better it's going to look. You might have to add a little bit more in some spots. Could also kind of shape it a tad bit better. When you're going along here like this. And like I said, guys, I always make it a tad bit bigger than what I really want it to be. And I've done this with cutting boards. I've done this with coasters, cutting boards. Serving trays as well. It works for those too. It's pretty cool when you can actually make different figures, like different little shapes and stuff. Like if you want to do like a serving tray, but if you want it to do like a pretty cool serving tray where it's like different shapes like different designs, like little zigzags and stuff like that. That's always great to do with it as well. Like I said, guys, you just want to go around it just to shape it up to make sure that you don't have any that's not together. I'm actually going to add a tad bit more over here on this side. Right here, looks like I could use a tad bit more. Now usually, guys, when you do this, you do want to let it dry. Just depending on how much shaping you did to it. Usually you do want to let it dry for at least a few hours before you actually pour the resin into it. I've have seen people do it about an hour or so later. I've got a buddy of mine that actually does it like that. He usually doesn't have too much trouble with it, but sometimes that can cause trouble. But it all depends on what shape you got, what you're doing, what kind of look you're going for, and what you're coming out with. But it's kind of all on you, whatever you feel comfortable doing. just gonna kind of make sure I got enough over here in this corner. Looks like I got a lot. Actually got a little more than I want over here in this corner. But it's not a big deal. Alright. I'm gonna leave it like that. Yep, I'm gonna leave it just like that, guys. That's gonna be the size that I need it to be. It's gonna be exactly how I want it to be. So that's gonna be perfect for me. So, as you can see, it does get a little bit messy, but I'll zoom in on it for you guys. You can kind of see. It's a little hard to see. It looks a little rough there, but on the inside, on the middle of it, it's actually smooth around where the around the inside here. It's definitely not going to be as smooth as a full-blown mold would be, you know, because obviously nothing's going to get it that smooth other than a mold. But it definitely will do its job, you know, and it's going to work out for me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this dry, and I will use it tomorrow to be able to make a couple of coasters and get some orders out. So if this video was helpful, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. Please definitely follow us on Facebook at Wiseman Custom Resin, or you can find us on Etsy at www.etsy.com /shop/Wiseman Custom Resin to check out all of our resin projects and some of our merchandise that we have for sale as well. If you guys have any special requests for any special videos, please feel free to reach out and let me know, and I will do our best to get those videos done and to answer any questions that you guys may have. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.